Being a fan of zombie movies is one of the hardest fandoms to be a fan of, because there is so much vomit. And I'm not talking about literal vomit. That's in the movies sometimes. I'm talking about vomit like really bad movies. Like the kind of movies that make you not want to watch movies anymore. Luckily, there are some zombie movies that are so good they make me want to watch zombie movies again. One of those good movies that keeps me loving zombie movies is the original Day of the Dead. And the remake is barf. Before I start talking about the remake, though, I'd like to give you a brief history lesson about zombie movies. There are two different flavors of zombie movies that came out in two separate waves. One that started in the late 70s and ended in the early 90s, and one that started in the early 2000s and ended just recently. The first zombie boom started after the success of Dawn of the Dead, and strangely enough, the second zombie boom started after a remake of the very same movie. In 2004, the then new filmmaker Zack Snyder directed a modern remake of Dawn of the Dead that was massively successful both critically and financially. It was by far one of the best Zack Snyder movies ever made. It was okay. But okay is far better than most of anything that followed. After the Dawn remake was successful, everyone and their grandmother started making zombie movies, and the only thing that they all had in common was that almost all of them were terrible. Even George Romero himself forgot how to make zombie movies. When Warm Bodies is genuinely one of the best zombie movies to come out of your zombie boom, it's really not much of a zombie boom at all, is it? And yes, there are exceptions, but the most notable exceptions are comedies, so that doesn't really count very much. Oh wait, I'm forgetting about World War Z. I really like World War Z. So anyway, sometime before this remake was made, I'm imagining a conversation like this happened. One guy was like, hey, that Dawn of the Dead remake was really good, and definitely won't lead to people making a bunch of garbage. And then a second guy said, yeah, and that Zack Snyder guy is a pretty good director, and definitely won't go on to create a bunch of garbage. And then a third guy said, hey, you know who I really like? Bill Cosby and Jared Fogle. We should make a remake of that other zombie movie, the one that less people saw. Okay, but let's make sure it has nothing to do with the other remake and doesn't resemble the original. Because that's the stupidest option available. You know, there's a reason that I put off making this review for several months. I'm lazy. But there's another reason too. I really didn't want to watch this movie. Luckily, I had some company and alcohol to get me through watching this film. I went to my friend Tyler's house and, well, we did the only thing that we could to get through it. I watched the movie about a week before I wrote the script for this review, and I wasn't sober for the whole viewing experience, so this might not be a completely fair review, but am I gonna watch the movie again? Fuck no! Booze couldn't even make this movie enjoyable. And booze can make Dune enjoyable. This movie was originally intended to be put into theaters, and they even tried to trick people into thinking it was related to the Dawn of the Dead remake by putting Ving Rhames in this movie as a completely different character. Obviously, that didn't work out. The movie that they made was way too good for theaters, so it was put straight onto DVD shelves. So the remake starts with a bunch of teenagers in the woods. You know the drill, some of them are infected, one of the girls gets killed off screen, and we see her tattoo thrown back at the camera because zombies hate eating tattoos! By the way, these two idiots are two of the main characters. I don't know their names. After the opening credits, we see a military blockade, and most of our main characters are members of the military, because that's totally the exact opposite of the original movie. Good job there. The main character is an officer named Sarah, and it's really weird that this character has the same name as another character from the original, even though they have nothing in common. Her commanding officer is Captain Rhodes, played by Ving Rhames. And it's really weird that this character has the same name as another character from the original, even though they have nothing in common.
Yeah, I heard about you. You and the homie Henry Fenton was hitting it for a couple months, right?
And this is Salazar. He's stupid and I hate him. That is his character. And last, there's the new soldier, Bud. Bud. Fuck you. Yep, this is the extent of what they're gonna do to justify this being a remake. That's why I'm gonna stop comparing this to the original, mostly. It's completely in name only, and I mean that in the most literal way possible. The only way this is a remake is in the names that they gave some of the characters. Not even all of the characters. Some of them they only gave them half of the right name. 3.5 of the characters in this movie have the same name as characters from the original movie, so remake! There's a quarantine going on in the city because something zombies. Sarah takes Bud to her house to check on her family, and I'm not exactly sure why she's allowed to do that. I thought she was a military officer. Once she gets to her house, she finds out her mother is sick, and she sees that her brother and his girlfriend are having some fun on the couch. Yeah, you guys remember Sarah's brother and her brother's girlfriend from the original movie, right? They were my favorite characters. I liked them in this scene. Sarah tells her brother that she needs to take her mother to the hospital because there's a quarantine going on, and somehow he never even noticed that. But her brother insists that he wants to go check on one of the opening kill guys, and Sarah agrees that she'll go check on him as long as he takes her mother to the hospital.
Do you think you can handle that? I'll go check on Kyle.
How much of this movie is left now? Oh. Sarah goes to the other house, and there doesn't seem to be anyone here until Bud knocks on some curtains, and then... What the fuck? Why were those bodies propped up in the window like that? How could someone die like that? Why weren't they zombies? Is this a completely unrelated murder that's never gonna be addressed again? So we get a little bit of downtime with Sarah and Bud in the car, which is the perfect time for these two characters to have a little bit of a conversation. Let's see what happens.
Why isn't your gun loaded?
It's complicated.
Cool. I'm a vegetarian, by the way.
Maybe we should keep that between us.
What? Oh my god, that is the least fluent conversation I've ever seen in a zombie film. And might be one of the least fluid conversations I've seen in any movie, regardless of budget. There isn't a single line of dialogue in this very short scene that logically flowed to one another and made any sort of sense. I'm gonna break this scene down for you.
Why isn't your gun loaded?
Oh, okay, so you're asking why her gun wasn't loaded, presumably about 20 or so minutes after the last scene happened. You guys already walked out of the house, got in the car, and have been driving for a little while because it's much darker outside. And then what's her response?
It's complicated.
It's complicated, which is not an acceptable answer to any question. In fact, it's so complicated that the movie never addresses this again, and we never find out the reason.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
I'm a vegetarian, by the way.
I'm a vegetarian, by the way.
Why did he say that?
Why weren't your blinkers on?
It's complicated.
Okay, cool. Have you seen The Snowman?
Oh, God. You guys better remember that he's a vegetarian, because that's gonna become a plot point later. That's not a joke. Sarah and friends eventually arrive at the hospital, where things don't seem to be going very well. Just about everybody in the town is sick, and they start going into a coma at just about the same time. And, one thing that's brought up about this movie a lot is that, well, it's obviously not a very good Day of the Dead remake, but if you look on it by itself, it's a pretty good zombie movie, right? Well, here's the reason that argument doesn't work. The zombies in this movie are terrible. Metal Gear Survive has better zombies than this movie. The biggest problem with these zombies is consistency in their rules. All the people in the hospital turn into zombies at the exact same time, even though they were obviously infected at different times, but that's just the least of the problems. They're super fast and super strong enough to do stupid bullshit like this, and yet they can be sliced into like butter and have a really hard time breaking glass. Except when they don't have a really hard time breaking glass. For some reason, when they get set on fire, their heads explode. What? Getting turned into a zombie makes you go into a coma shortly after you die, except for the times that it doesn't make you go into a coma. Turning into a zombie makes you quite instantly grow a bunch of blue veins and disgusting necrosis over your face, instead of it actually just being normal rot on a corpse. Like, what the fuck? It can even be paused halfway through so that only half of your face is necrotic. They're smart enough to pretend to be corpses for ambushes, and one of them even figures out where some people are hiding by listening to them talking on a radio, instead of thinking that the radio is people like a normal zombie would, but they still don't know how to open fucking doors. But of course, the stupidest thing about these zombies is yet to happen. Let's kind of speed up through this movie. I'm tired of talking about details.
About the bodies. You said they looked like they were mauled. Could it have been an animal attack?
And now we get to see the other character they ruined, Dr. Logan. And it's really weird that this character has the same name as another character from the original, even though they have nothing in common. And while Dr. Logan in the original movie was an extremely flawed but likable character who had extreme views about his work and didn't understand the consequences of what he was doing,
I don't believe it.
Logan's star pupil.
The Dr. Logan in this movie...
Please, help me. Please.
I'll help you.
Is a dick. He's just a dick. You want to know what I feel about having my second favorite character from the original movie be turned into this? I don't much care for it. Bunch of chaos breaks out in the hospital, and Captain Rhodes sacrifices himself to save the rest of the group. Yep, that's right. In this movie, Captain Rhodes is a generally nice guy who dies a heroic death. You know, movie, if you wanted to do everything wrong, you could have made Captain Rhodes a scientist.
Captain Rhodes is Humvee. You should have the keys on him. We gotta get him.
They figure out that in order to escape from the zombie hospital, they have to get the keys to the truck off of Captain Rhodes' body. And there's an extremely exciting sequence where Sarah has to take the keys off of him, which is just so exciting that I'm not going to talk about it. Salazar rejoins the group, which I'm super happy about that. Meanwhile, Trevor and Nina, yeah, I figured out these characters' names, escape from the hospital by just kind of running away. I mean, running seemed to be everyone's plan, but they run much more better than everyone else, so they're the only ones that get to escape. They run to a DJ character that I didn't talk about before. He's my favorite character in the movie because he's definitely the best written character in the movie. He's completely terrible. I think the real reason that I like him is because he's just trying so hard to have an American accent.
As a cog in the military-industrial complex, are you capable of independent thought?
Are you one of them? No! Are you sure?
No, sure!
You better not be!
Now the movie shifts back to Sarah's group, and it looks like Bud has been bitten while trying to escape from the zombies. And Salazar quite randomly figures out that being bitten turns you into a zombie, so he wants to kill Bud. But Sarah says no, and says that if it ever comes to that, she'll be the one to kill him.
And if the time comes, I'll do what has to be done, okay?
Now remember that line. Remember it. Because the movie doesn't. Speaking of stupid dialogue, Salazar is creating a spear-like weapon when this happens.
Sweet spear.
See a black man with a sharp stick is supposed to be a spear.
What? You see a black man with a spear and you label it as a spear? What, are you fucking racist or something? Okay, I'm pretty sure that every race in human existence has used a spear at one point or another. Also, that is a spear. That is literally, objectively a spear. Dr. Logan escapes by taking the keys and getting in Captain Rhodes' vehicle, which is what everyone was supposed to take.
Oh, what a dick!
And that would have been really bad for the group, except they just take a completely different vehicle and there are no problems. Why did they spend so long getting the keys if they had the keys to another vehicle that was parked right next to Captain Rhodes' They come upon a gun store and Salazar is annoying again.
By the power of grace, go! See if I save your ass again.
And then when they get back in the car, it looks like Bud has finally turned into a zombie, so it's time to put him down.
No! He's restrained.
What if he gets loose?
I'll shoot him.
Oh my god, Sarah, you're such a great protagonist.
And if the time comes, I'll do what has to be done, okay?
No! He's restrained.
I'll do what has to be done, okay?
No!
I'll do what has to be done, okay?
Yep, Sarah still doesn't want to kill Bud, even though she promised a couple scenes ago that she would do it, but she has a very good reason. He isn't attacking them right now. Even though the zombies in this movie have proven that they're smart enough to not attack people at first in order to trick them, this time it's okay because... Oh, you're gonna love the reason.
I mean, why Thriller over here ain't trying to eat us?
He's a vegetarian.
He's a vegetarian. He's a vegetarian zombie. It's a vegetarian zombie. Okay. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I love that. I remember all the vegetarian zombies from the other movies. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some goddamn chicken nuggets.
How can I take an order?
Yes, I would like a 20-count box of chicken McNuggets.
You said a 20-piece nugget?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of sauce?
Have you seen the 2008 Day of the Dead remake?
No.
It's really bad.
Everyone in the radio station except for Trevor and Nina die in a sequence that's so exciting that I'm not going to talk about it.
Fucking tell us!
And then Sarah and her group arrive to save them, and...
Mom!
Trevor!
Yep, that's right. She doesn't want to kill her friend Bud that she's known for a day. She even insists on keeping his zombie body in the car with them. But she's perfectly fine with running over her mom because...
Trevor, it wasn't her.
I'll do what has to be done, okay?
No!
I'll do what has to be done.
Trevor, it wasn't her.
No!
I can't feel anything anymore. I'm gonna be honest. At this point, I started paying a lot less attention to the movie. I only vaguely know what happens next. So, why don't you just take a guess? Guess on where this story is going. Think of the most cliché, least creative route they could possibly take it, and there's a pretty good chance that you're gonna be right. If you guess that they go to an underground lair, then congratulations! You just won a free DVD of Day of the Dead 2008. Send me your address and I'll mail it right to you.
The hell?
We find Dr. Logan hiding out in this underground lab because, oh convenience of conveniences, this is where he just so happened to work before all this happened.
These things were after me. I found this compound. I just came here for shelter.
So you took off to save your own ass?
No.
And destroy some kind of evidence, huh?
Said something about Project Wildfire.
The survivors all watch some stupid home videos about how they created the zombie virus, and Dr. Logan insists that he wasn't involved with it, even though I don't care. And then they're just kind of randomly walking around in the facility. I don't remember what they were doing, or if they were even doing anything at all. And Dr. Logan says...
That's Dr. Angle. He was the best man on the team. If they do retain something of what they were, we are so screwed.
I'd say this is the stupidest thing I've heard in a zombie movie, but this is only the third stupidest line in this very movie, so I guess it's not that bad. Yep, because the lead scientist was super smart, that means that he's going to make a more dangerous zombie. Wait a second. Oh no, I get what's going on. When you turn into a zombie, you get to redistribute all your stats. So, being a scientist, he had a lot of points in intelligence and charisma, but you don't need those when you're a zombie, so he took those points out and respec them into strength and speed. Oh, now I know I've been confused this whole time. This isn't a remake of Day of the Dead, this is a remake of the Dungeons and Dragons movie. It's still fucking worse! Sarah and Trevor split into two different groups because, I don't know, I want this movie to end. And then Salazar walks into a hallway and just wastes all of his ammo.
Just in case.
Yeah, you've got to watch out for those wall-hiding ninja zombies. They'll get you every time. Okay. I guess the movie wins this argument.
Yes, kill him!
Sarah gets herself in a pretty sticky situation, but then Bud Zombie heroically reappears and fires his gun a bunch, and that distracts all the zombies and makes them want to kill him instead because zombies hate zombies that use guns. Except for these zombies that were using guns earlier in the movie, and oh my god, is anything in this film consistent? Anyway, Sarah finds her brother and his girlfriend again, and they do something rocket engines to blow up all the zombies. And it doesn't kill Sarah and her friends because I don't care, I just want this movie to end.
What? What?
They both get back in their vehicle and drive away to the rising sun, and this is the way that the movie chooses to end itself.
This is Haley Shue reporting, KDSX, Colorado County.
Yep. A stupid jump scare. A fucking car commercial. That's the way this movie wants to end. That is this movie's closing argument. A stupid jump scare. You want to know what my closing thoughts for Day of the Dead 2008 is? You want to know how it made me feel? What I really think about it? Why don't you look at the DVD box cover? This says everything you need to know about the movie. No false advertising here. It's even on the fucking DVD. I'm done with this. Hold on, that wasn't violent enough. I'm done with this! Oh shit. Yeah, so, the first Day of the Dead remake was a bit of a bust, but hey, there's always Day of the Dead 2. Maybe that'll be good. That's the best joke in the video.
Have you seen
Fuck yeah, I've seen the snowman!
That wasn't very nice, you know. That wasn't very nice at all. Let's go. You can just sit there in the dark and think about what you've done. Think about it. Think.